Hey, are you thinking about hiring a virtual assistant in 2022? If so, stay tuned because that's what we're going to dive into in this video. By the end of this video, I'm going to share with you 5 things you need to know before hiring a virtual assistant so that way you can have the most successful process and most successful relationship with this individual. Now, before we get into that, for the best online marketing and lead generation advice, specifically for the staffing and recruiting industry, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that little bell in the corner so you're notified of all my videos that I drop every single week. So let's dive in. So hiring a virtual assistant has been a game changer for my business, and it's also been a game changer for my clients' business as well. And the big idea here is to free up some time for yourself so that you can focus more on your revenue driving activities. So the first tip that I have is make sure that you take this seriously. One of the mistakes that I see people make is they think virtual assistant, they think that they can be a little bit more, rough around the edges with the whole process. They don't need to take it as seriously. They don't need to hire, worry about hiring. They don't need to create job descriptions. You need to take this seriously if you want this to succeed. It's not something that you can, view as a test. It's something that you have to go all in on and really commit to if you want to have a good experience. And if you also want to create a good experience for the other individual on the other side. So that's the first thing. I know it's kind of weird, but that's the number one thing you need to do is take this thing seriously to have the success that you're after. The next thing is the planning stage. Before you hire somebody, just like if you were going to hire somebody full-time in your business and somebody that was going to show up physically to your office location, hiring a virtual assistant is going to require planning. So you're going to want to make sure that you have a good quality job description for them. You want to make sure that they know exactly what the work requirements are going to look like, what their day job is going to look like, all the potential things that you can do to make this easier for them, right? And make this better for you. And so where do you start with that? Well, for me, I usually start with all the things that I don't like to do, the things that I don't want to do, that somebody else can do better for me. And then I plan around that and I create my job description around those types of things. But this goes back into that other thing about taking this whole thing seriously, making sure that we're planning and we're really doing the basics like we would of any other hire, and making sure we have a good quality job description and all the responsibilities that people will be doing in that position. The next thing is make sure that you vet them out, okay? And this is actually one of the advantages if you're doing a virtual assistant, because you're hiring somebody as a contractor and it's a gig thing. You actually, one of the things that I was able to do is you can kind of give somebody a test, right? So you can give them some of the responsibilities that you would be having them do and test them out, see how they do it. See if you enjoy, 1, working with them. 2, allows you to test the quality of their work. What I do to make this fair for everybody is I just pay them in advance. Hey, I want you to do these types of things. I think it's going to be X amount of hours of work. Here's the money up front. Will you try this for me for a week? See if we enjoy working together. And, you can actually do this with several different people. And then ultimately you can land on somebody that you enjoy working with, that that can get the job done right. So that is one of the huge advantages of hiring virtual assistants and using it from the contractor. Now, I personally don't use like a third-party company. I actually just go directly to the virtual assistants. One of the great things out there that you can utilize are the international job boards that are out there. Fiverr, Upwork are great ways to find virtual assistant. Now, the next thing you want to have in place before hiring a virtual assistant is how are you going to manage these individuals? One of the things that I've heard with other friends of mine and other business professionals that I talk to that hire virtual assistants is they weren't good on the management side. And so they never really could measure how well their virtual assistant was doing. They were unorganized, and it left for a bad experience, not only for them, but also for the virtual assistant too. So having a good management system, there are a ton of them out there, Monday, Asana, et cetera, are great ways to create workflows for your virtual assistant. So you guys are on the same page and have a great way that you can communicate back and forth. That you guys make sure, that the jobs are getting done in a timely manner and you have the expectation for those people. So having that up front is going to be critically important, is having a good management system in place that both you guys can work with. Now, a lot of the virtual assistants that I've worked with are overseas, so we're talking about different time zones. So being able to kind of set their day before I go to sleep, for example, and then they can kind of go to work without a ton of communication having to be necessary, at least live communication. The last thing I would say is be ready to treat them like they are truly a part of your team. I've been working with the same virtual assistant for several years now, and she's been an absolute game changer for my business. But also I've been a game changer for her and her life as well. And it's something that I take pride in. It's something that we both appreciate. We both have a really solid relationship. And it's because she knows that she's a part of the Donnie Gupton and Relevant Recruiter brand. And I think that's very important, that when you bring on a virtual assistant, to make them part of your team, speak to them, let them know your vision, let them know your goals, let them know the impact that they're having towards those goals. And that's going to create a phenomenal working relationship with your virtual assistant. So, hey, if you like this video, a couple of things. Again, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Also, head over to our Facebook group, the Relevant Recruiter Group. We're always doing live trainings, tons of great conversations going on with other recruiters in there. Everything from lead generation to candidate sourcing to marketing, to contracts, to fees you should be paying, to sales, to how you're, following up with your clients and candidates. We're talking about it all in there. It's a great community. But this is Donnie Gupton, and I'll see you in the very next video.